Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down the big ideas. Today, we are cracking open what might be the most controversial and honestly the most brutally honest instruction manual ever written, Machiavelli's The Prince.
You know, for 500 years, leaders, kings, presidents, CEOs, they've all wrestled with this exact question. And Machiavelli, he gave a shockingly direct answer. So yeah, let's dive into this.
We're going to explore his whole playbook in 4 parts, starting with the basic rules of the game and then getting into the secrets of mastering it. Okay, first up, Machiavelli's core philosophy. Right off the bat, he just tosses traditional morality out the window. He's focused on one thing and one thing only: what actually works.
For Machiavelli, a state really just rests on 2 pillars: good laws and good arms. But let's be real, he's crystal clear about which one comes first. He says you can't have good laws without good arms, so a powerful military is the bedrock for everything else.
In fact, he gets pretty intense about this. He argues that a ruler, a prince, should have no other thought, no other focus but war. Why? Because it's the one skill that keeps you in power and lets you get more. If you ignore it, you're just asking for trouble.
So, if war is the prince's main gig, how do you even get that job in the first place? Let's take a look at his acquisition playbook.
Machiavelli breaks it down pretty simply. Inheriting a kingdom, that's the easy route. Just don't mess things up. But if you're a new prince, taking a state with your own skill is going to be tough. But once you have it, it's easier to hold. The riskiest path? Getting power through pure luck. It's easy to get, but almost impossible to keep.
Right, so if you just get lucky, your real work is only just beginning. Think about it like a startup that suddenly gets a crazy valuation overnight. Sure, the money's there, but the company itself is probably built on shaky ground. You have to scramble to build a real foundation before the whole thing just collapses. Well, Machiavelli gives us a pretty ruthless case study in how to do just that in politics.
He points to a guy named Cesare Borgia. Borgia got his state through luck, and then he immediately launched this brutal 5-step plan to build his foundation. He wiped out all threats, bought the loyalty of powerful people, and brought back order using a notoriously cruel minister, who he then had publicly executed to become the hero who saved the people from him. It's a chilling masterclass in political strategy.
Getting power is one thing, right? But keeping it? Well, that requires a whole new set of, let's call them, dark arts.
His advice on cruelty is famously practical. He says if you have to do something painful, like think corporate layoffs or a really tough new policy, you do it all at once. Get the dirty work over with fast, because dragging it out in little bits, he warns, that just keeps people angry and forces you to, as he puts it, always keep the knife in his hand.
And this quote really gets to the heart of his logic. Half measures just create enemies who are wounded but not defeated and can still come back to hurt you. So his advice is stark. Either make your opponents completely powerless to ever get revenge, or don't make them your opponents at all.
So, here's the crucial thing. A prince has to avoid being hated at all costs. And what makes people truly hate their ruler? Taking their stuff and messing with their families. As Machiavelli coldly puts it, men more quickly forget the death of a father than the loss of their patrimony. Ouch!
Ultimately, he argues that all the walls and armies in the world are useless if your own people want you gone. Popular support, he says, is the greatest defense any ruler could ever have.
All right, finally, let's look at the invisible forces a prince has to master: skill, luck, and of course, his own reputation.
So, Machiavelli completely redefines the word virtue, or virtu. You have to forget everything you think it means. It's not about being a good person. It's about being effective. Think of a startup founder who's famously difficult, but builds a world-changing company. That's virtu in action. It's the skill to adapt, to conquer, and to do whatever it takes to get to your goal.
And then you have fortuna, or luck. He saw it as this powerful, wild force, but not an unbeatable one. He said a leader with enough virtue, enough skill, could build defenses, like dams and levees, to survive the unpredictable floods of fortune, and maybe even channel them to his advantage.
And this is one of his most famous and maybe most modern ideas. A leader doesn't actually need to have good qualities, but they absolutely must appear to have them. This is basically the foundation of modern PR and image management. The key is being a great actor, ready to be totally ruthless behind the scenes if the survival of your state or your company demands it.
And here it is, his cold, pragmatic answer to that huge question we started with.
Love, he says, is unreliable. It's a bond that people, being kind of selfish, will break whenever it suits them. But fear is held in place by a dread of punishment. And that dread, that never fails.
So that leaves us with a final thought for today. In a world that claims to value authenticity and connection, what are the modern consequences when a leader chooses being liked over being effective? Machiavelli's playbook, for better or for worse, is a stark reminder that power plays by its own brutal set of rules.